Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? So we are chatting about the gut-skin connection today. I did a little post yesterday about some typical gut symptoms relating to diarrhea, feeling gassy, having loose stools, feeling a little bit more constipated, having rashes, having allergies, unexplained food sensitivities popping up. So all of these lead to the gut. So today I'm going to be chatting about some of the common mistakes I see people making when they're addressing the gut-skin connection, and then what you need to be focusing on. So I'd love to get a little gauge of where you guys are at. So do you know about the gut-skin connection? Drop a 1 below. Have you tried addressing your gut health? And it's okay if you haven't, because this is a good starting point. If you have, drop a 2 below, just so I can get a gauge. And if you'd be willing to share, if you have, I'd love to know what you have tried in terms of addressing the gut-skin connection. Okay, so why is this important, right? So we know that eczema is a condition of a hyperimmune response inside the body, right? It's also dry skin, but we know that it's deeper than that, right? So it's more than skin deep. And so when we're looking at, okay, if this is a hyperimmune response, where's the majority of the immune system located? It's in the gut. And then everybody's like, okay, I want to use food as medicine, right? I'm eating all the good foods and I'm like not noticing a difference, or my skin's getting worse. But then if we dig deeper into that, it's not only what you eat, it's what you break down and absorb in your gut, right? So then from there, you can also have a lot of gut bugs that are creating inflammation as well. So there are multiple other things, but just as a baseline and getting started, that's just good knowledge to know. So I would love to know in the chat if you guys know, if you guys knew about that and if you're aware of it. And if not, that's okay. Okay, so knowing that, and I'll use some client examples and some things, some mistakes I'll go through that have kept a lot of people stuck. So a lot of times people will like read somebody's success story and say, oh, okay, I just need to do the anti-candida diet because they said it was candida. Or maybe I need to do the eczema diet and just cut out salicylates. Oh, maybe it's histamine. I need to cut out histamine. Keep it removing these foods. And then what happens is you create nutrient deficiencies, right? And it creates an imbalance in your gut microbiome. So following other people's success stories, because it's not food, it's you. It's how your body's reacting to it. And that's going to be linked into gut health, right? All of those food intolerances that I just mentioned, if that is the problem, it's not food, right? So we need to be digging deeper. So a lot of times people will say they'll go to a naturopath or a nutritionist or some sort of a practitioner, and the classic supplements that people will be given are probiotics, vitamin D, zinc, maybe even like glutamine's a common one too. And so while these are helpful and I do use these in the practice, if you're not getting any results from it, you have to be digging deeper. And it is going to be deeper than that. Like in the program, we do GI maps, the PCR ones, and the same overgrowths keep coming up. And if you do, there's a point where just doing food as medicine or just using these like surface level supplements, it's not gonna get to the root cause. And so that's what keeps a lot of people stuck as well. Some people will be like, okay, I'm doing the things, I'm having the bone broth, I'm having the sauerkraut, my skin's just getting worse from that, or I'm not seeing improvements. So if you've been doing something and you haven't been getting any relief, then we need to be digging deeper, right? Because there's a reason why, right? It's not just because it's you and your skin and, you're just one of those miracle cases. There's always a way that we can be digging deeper, either trying new things, looking at the whole picture, your body as a whole. What are your symptoms telling you? If you've done the eczema symptom score, let me know if the gut column, if you scored high in that one, or there's further testing that we can do, right? There's the great thing about the world today is that there's so much testing, and microbiome maps, and the GM maps are one of the things that, one of the first tests that will get done in the program. So if you're just using those surface level approaches, that might be what's keeping you stuck. So again, let me know in the comments which ones you've tried, which ones worked, which one hasn't, and we can kind of workshop it from there. So is that making sense? Drop a yes below if that's making sense. Because if you're only doing elimination diets, if you're only doing liver detoxes, if you're just doing juicing, if you're just doing like vegan diets or cutting out food, it's not fixing the imbalance in your gut. And we now know why it's important to start with the gut, right? And this is part of the Eczema Healing Foundations, is we start addressing gut function right away. And we go deep, deep, deep into gut function and gut bugs, because it's a case for everybody. It's not the only root cause. There's also going to be the brain-skin connection. There's going to be potential like hormone imbalances as well. And there's also contributing factors to nutrient deficiencies, all that. So, but it's a good starting point, right? So if you do want a couple tips on, I'm not going to go through all of them because we don't have time to go through it, but I talk about it in the eczema flare-up guide. So if you have the eczema flare-up guide, go to the gut section and start implementing those and see if you notice a difference. If you have, let me know the outcome and if you notice any changes to your bowel movements, or to your bloating and gas. If you haven't gotten the eczema relief guide, just type in eczema relief and we can send it to you. Okay, so when we're getting to the root cause, right? So the suggestions in the eczema relief guide on, how you can use food as medicine, they're baseline approaches. And you always want to start out with that foundational work. But then we want to be thinking, why, right? So if we do testing and, if it does come up that you have a gut overgrowth, you have some GI functional dysfunction, right? Like intestinal permeability, or you do have food sensitivities, we have to be understanding how that happened, right? Because it's not the overgrowth that's the problem. It's not the food sensitivities that's the problem. It's the dysfunction in the gut. And I cannot stress this enough. And there's going to be multiple contributing factors to this. It might be long-term chronic stress, right? And the gut brain connection, which we're going to chat about more. If you do want to learn more about the gut brain connection, drop gut brain below and we'll tag you in the upcoming trainings. It might be nutrient deficiencies. All of the nutrients that we get from food are the building blocks of our hair, skin, and nails, of our immune system, of our bones, our hormones, and neurotransmitters, every single thing in our body. And some nutrients like essential fatty acids, some amino acids, we have to get from food. Our body doesn't synthesize them. It doesn't make them ourselves. So having nutrient deficiencies, which we now know can be led to having gut dysfunction, can be a contributing factor of these overgrowths. Having a weak immune system because you've had so many either infections or allergies and your immune system's been under the pump, it's lost its resources. Now it can't fight off any other infections and there's a bit of an imbalance. And I just say that your immune system has lost resources, right? It doesn't have the resilience to be fighting off these infections anymore. And you see that with eczema, getting recurring flus, lots of allergies, all of a sudden getting food tolerances. And then we want to be looking at your microbiome, those gut bugs, because plays a big factor in eczema and your immune system. Looking at your diet, right? Have you had a diet that's been high in processed foods and sugars and low in nutrients? So in your vegetables and fruits and lean proteins and healthy fats and lacking fiber that feeds the bacteria. That's a big one. And we workshop that with a lot of people. Have you had a history of nutrient deficiencies? Okay, well, then you don't have the nutritional building blocks to be supporting your microbiome or your gut. So that will eventually lead to this gut dysfunction and eczema. Does that make sense? Sometimes taking multiple rounds of antibiotics that hasn't been well since picture was after taking antibiotics, which might have led to a yeast overgrowth, or even using corticosteroids, because that will disrupt the microbiome. Antihistamines will disrupt the gastric acid in your stomach. So all of these tools that we use to help manage our skin will have an effect on our body, right? You don't just take a medication and it doesn't do anything else. They have multiple actions, and it might be really great at blocking inflammation for a short period of time, but we have to be thinking of the big picture long term. And if you're in this group, you're here because you want a long-term approach to managing your eczema. So this is where we need to get started. The oral contraceptive pill too, that creates imbalances in the microbiome. So there's all these different things, right? High stress, and like anxiety that disrupts your gut function too. So there's lots that can be going on, which can be a little bit overwhelming when there's so many different things. But when you can really start looking at your symptoms and say, okay, this is what I need to be addressing. I need to get my gut functioning first, and then also be looking at the contributing factors and how I got there. So then I don't just do a detox or do a diet and go back to my old habits and taking the same medications and living the same way that I was before that got me to that point, right? You want to change those habits because it wasn't serving your gut and your skin. Does that make sense? So I wanted to share this because it's common things that keep people stuck, right? And obviously there's like all the inflammatory foods and just baseline people know like about sugar and alcohol causing direct inflammation. But those, I just wanted to share that because we've been having lots of conversations with people, and these are common things that keep people stuck. They're also common things that keep people stuck before they come into the Love Your Skin program. So I keep seeing the same things over and over and over. So the whole aim here is to try and share that information. So let me know if that was helpful. Drop your aha moment below, and stay tuned. I'll be chatting about the gut brain connection, and also be chatting about allergies upcoming too. All right, I'll see you in the next live.